And the winner of the Southeast Software Association Impact Award is Parkmobile, the leading global provider of seamlessly integrated end-to-end solutions for mobile payments and parking guidance. Using business analytics in parking, its offerings include mobile payments for on- and off-street parking, digital parking permits, real-time enforcement, and a seamless travel experience. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, March the 11th, 2014, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. Up to the Tech Talk, Cherie Fuzzell, Chief Executive Officer of Parkmobile. Founded in Atlanta, Georgia, its call center, engineering team, corporate headquarters, they're all located in the U.S., and their services are used in 400 cities around the world by millions of registered users. Cherie has over 17 years of executive experience in the payments and healthcare industry, as well as 7 years of mergers and acquisition experience with the international law firm Jones Day. Most recently, she was president and CEO of FirstView and has held senior positions with U.S. Bancorp, Nova Information Systems, and Magellan Health Services. Learn how the Impact Award winner is taking the intelligent transportation space at high speed and discover its game-changing partnership with the Ford Motor Company and Volvo, plus the introduction of a revolutionary app that is impacting the everyday driver for all time. It's a Tech Talk on FinTech and the future of intelligent transportation, and of a local company, Parkmobile, that is taking the market and leaving all the rest in the dust as we meet Parkmobile Chief Executive Officer Cherie Fuzzell. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Cherie, welcome to Tech Talk, or I should say welcome back to Tech Talk.
Hi, Frank. Thanks for having me here today.
Well, it's really exciting watching you guys grow. A lot of new and exciting opportunities that have opened to you, both business and professional accolades. I'm sure that a lot of our listeners have kind of kept track about the success that you've been enjoying, but maybe some of them are still not fully aware. So let's start out with a brief recap. Give us an overview of just how Parkmobile works.
Yes, thank you. Well, Parkmobile simplifies an essential daily activity, parking. With Parkmobile, members can pay for parking from any mobile phone or web-enabled device. There's no need to feed coins to a meter, swipe a card, or stuff bills into a slot. You can park from the safety and convenience of your car or while walking to a meeting. And we even send members alerts 15 minutes before each parking session is about to expire. And members can extend their parking sessions remotely without the need to return to the meter or risk getting a parking ticket.
Wow. You know, I can really appreciate it because it wasn't about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was downtown in downtown Atlanta, and I had bought 2 hours, and I ran 10 minutes over, and it cost me $35. And it was just the principle of the thing. And had I realized that I'd run over, I'd have gone down and taken care of it. Of course, with what you're talking about, that would never happen.
And we will be live on all of those spaces in downtown Atlanta in the next week, so watch for us there.
I'm joining up. I'll tell you what, it was an aggravation, and it's one of those things you really shouldn't have to think about, and one of the great parts about Parkmobile is you don't. It kind of takes care of it for you. How does it impact the everyday driver? Obviously, from what I'm giving you as a perspective myself personally, but from a general marketplace now where you've done a fair amount of expansion, how is it impacting the everyday driver?
Well, you know, over the past decade, technology has simplified many aspects of our daily lives. Like there's no need today to visit a retailer to rent a movie or buy a book or music. And the Internet's also revolutionized the way that we get travel information and book airlines and hotels and cars. I mean, I can't even remember what the process was like before sites like Expedia were available. Yet in parking, we're still sort of stuck in the 1930s when parking meters were first introduced, and Parkmobile is changing that. You know, today, how does it impact a daily driver? Well, 30% of urban congestion is people looking for a place to park, and this translates into an average of 20 minutes to find a parking space in a congested urban area. And, you know, 60% of drivers have said they decided against pursuing an activity because of actual or perceived issues with parking. And so for the everyday driver, Parkmobile allows them to find parking, navigate to a Parkmobile-enabled lot, pay for that parking, and then, of course, extend the parking session if necessary. And there's also a single repository of all their parking transactions for the month for expense reporting and record-keeping purposes.
Something so simple, it's almost the proverbial bobby pin or something, safety pin, that the concept is simple, but the solution that it provides is so incredibly supportive of when I think about how many times, we talk about Atlanta, I'm sure it's true in any metro area that you operate in, and that is that you really can't tell how much time you're going to need. You may be able to get a GPS on how long it's going to take you to get there, but it's almost impossible to figure out whether or not you're going to find a spot and how quickly you're going to find it. Now, one of the things that I think is really going to be of interest to our listeners is the fact that you've really getting grand acceptance, not just only from the drivers, but from the car companies themselves. You recently partnered with Ford and Volvo. Tell us a bit about that and how your app will work within the connected vehicle of the future.
Yeah, so we are so excited about our work with a number of automotive manufacturers. As you mentioned, Ford and Volvo, we announced recently, and we've got more announcements to come in that regard. And each automotive manufacturer is different. For example, with Ford, the initial parking experience is conducted entirely with voice prompts. Parking can be accomplished in as little as 3 simple yes commands to the car. And then there's interoperability with a white-labeled mobile application that we built for Ford so that consumers can continue to receive their alerts and extend parking sessions remotely. But how great will it be to drive into a spot and your Ford says to you, are you in zone 1, 2, 3, 4? Yes. Do you want to park for the max? It's 3 hours. Yes. And your parking rate is $4.50. Is that okay? Yes. And you're on your way. Now with Volvo, the experience is a lot more like our traditional app experience, except it's conducted through the head unit in the car, and it's fully integrated with the car's available parking guidance provider. This means when you insert into the navigation device where you want to go, and then you get closer, it will show you all the available parking in the area, and that will show the rates and the hours of operation and whether that parking is gated or covered. And then when you get there, you can pay with Parkmobile, all through a unified customer experience. I mean, that's really the future.
Well, I'm thinking that the only thing left is a button that I press after I've gotten out of the car, and it just drives off and finds a spot, and I call it back when I want it. I mean, I can't imagine how many more innovations you guys can possibly come up with. But, the bottom line is, you mentioned it earlier, because of the experience being so important in today's not only hectic and busy world, but intensely populated with a lot of cars and traffic, it's really an issue of almost economic development. I'm certainly, and I know you have and a lot of our listeners, seen articles where Atlanta is, becoming one of the concerns about its great growth and dynamic opportunities. Part of it is traffic. So anything that you can relieve not only the point-to-point traffic situation, but again to be able to do the kind of thing that you're talking about with an app that allows you to have that kind of, let's say, comprehensive type of communication with your automobile. It's almost cognitive. That's pretty incredible. So again, hats off. One of the things is that you're not only being recognized by Ford and Volvo, you're being recognized by the Southeastern Software Association. I wonder if you got a reaction about being the recipient of the 2013 Impact Award.
Oh, yes, we were truly honored to receive that award. We were, first of all, nominated by one of our customers, which was great. And that award is public recognition that we have demonstrated outstanding leadership in terms of bringing new technology solutions to the market, and that our innovative smart parking solutions have had a positive impact on both consumers who use our solution and the business community. So we were truly thrilled.
Well, and again, I think it's a case of the spectrum of innovation that's impacting. We talk about the digital economy, and certainly every one of these things is an incremental chip into the puzzle pieces that ultimately makes for that cognitive experience of the future. Says a lot about the vertical of the industry. It says a lot about the software association and the software industry. Also, I think it says a little bit about TAG. A lot of our listeners, probably the majority of them, are TAG members, but some of them may not be aware fully of TAG's impact outside of the networking and membership and other things that are involved. maybe give us an insight about how TAG and being a recipient of the SSA has helped to not only further the recognition, but maybe even collaborate with the industry in general.
Oh, yes, certainly. Well, I'm a huge fan of TAG. When I joined Parkmobile 14 months ago, we had always thought of ourselves more as a parking company, but really we have one foot in the parking world and one foot in the payments world. And so since that time, we have been endeavoring to raise our profile as a payments company, and TAG has been instrumental in elevating our profile in the Atlanta business community and throughout the Southeast. We've taken advantage of many opportunities to get involved and to connect with other companies through TAG and various societies. I'm personally involved with TAG FinTech, but one of our other members, our colleagues, just joined the board of the TAG Social Society.
Well, I think that's an interesting insight in terms of, thinking of yourself from a standpoint of being a parking company, if you will, to now, I guess, the vertical is called intelligent transportation space. And is that sort of the niche that you mentioned fintech? I can see where it's the general concept, the general information could be applied to a lot of different applications of one kind or another. But let's go into this whole idea of intelligence transportation space. Obviously, there's a number of other players in that space now. How do those services together with Parkmobile change the consumer experience of the future? I was talking about a digital economy.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, parking is still sort of back in the 1930s, but it's gradually coming forward. And there are a lot of different players right now that are helping the consumer experience in different ways, but they're disconnected at the moment. So there are providers of parking information, and they tell you where parking lots are available and what they cost and their hours of operation. And there are specific apps for that. And then there are available parking guidance providers, and they either use sensors in the parking space, physical sensors, or algorithms to tell you where parking is likely to be available at a given point in time. And there are specific apps for that. And then there are parking reservation systems, and they'll let you reserve a parking space in advance. That's something that we're adding in the very near future to Parkmobile. But today there are independent providers who will let you reserve a spot. And then there are parking payments providers like Parkmobile. And there are even providers that specialize in valet parking and parking validation solutions. So you could find yourself in just trying to navigate and find and pay for parking using a multitude of apps. And that's not very good while you're driving. So in the future, the solutions offered by all these players, the players are coming together, like I mentioned with our Volvo experience. Players are coming together to be more closely aligned to fully integrate the consumer experience around reserving that spot or finding an available spot, navigating to it, and ultimately paying for the parking and managing the parking need through an extension capability.
I would think with Ford and Volvo, that's a kind of a demonstration of a value-added proposition in terms of those automobiles. Certainly it may not be the primary decision why one picks one brand over the other, but obviously if there's a close competitive situation and one has Parkmobile or Parkmobile capability and the other doesn't, and I can see that happening to stores and malls and restaurants and entertainment facilities of all kinds beyond just general parking arenas. So it would seem like there's obviously already a world of opportunity being presented to you, but even more ahead with this intelligent transportation space consolidating. Well, Cherie, it's always a pleasure. It's been amazing how quick you've grown and how much you've expanded, not only the market size, but your vision and your perception of innovation as far as the technology is concerned. Thank you for all you do for TAG, and especially thank you for taking a little bit of your time to join us today on Tech Talk.
And thank you for the opportunity to visit with you today. Oh, and for more information, you can find us at parkmobile.com.